Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and poll leader Donald Trump filled this room with about 1,000 or so spectators, hoping to separate themselves from each other as voters get ready to hit the polls in the primary next month.
Want to really do something dramatic, not just for health care, but the overall economy? Declare war on heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's.
Taking some time to answer questions about health care at the SCT Party Convention Coalition, Mike Huckabee says he wants to focus on prevention, not just treatment of the sick, and supports immigration if it's done right.
And if we are really serious about helping them, let's get them some encampments that are close to where they live rather than import them 8,000 miles from a country where they're comfortable to one they're not, with a language they can't speak, with jobs we don't have, and with housing we can't fill.
And as far as the tax system, he wants a fair tax and to abolish the IRS.
As long as we tax income, whether it's flat or whether it's a graduated income tax, there's going to be an IRS, and you'll still have to tell the government how much money you made and why you made it and how you made it. Under the fair tax, it is none of the government's business how much money you made, and never again do you have to tell them where you got it if it's legal.
Religious freedom and marriage high on the priority list for Ted Cruz, who is second to Donald Trump in the polls. He asked voters to avoid the campaign rhetoric but focus on the action of the candidates. He said as senator, he's fought against undocumented immigrants, terrorism, and Obamacare.
You want to know who's really going to repeal Obamacare? You want to know who's willing to bleed and stand? In 2013, ask of every candidate on that stage, where were you when the fight was being fought and the American people were standing up to Washington? I can tell you no one in history ever grew a backbone after they got to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Donald Trump highlighted his high standings in the polls, attacking the millions of dollars some of his challengers have spent, claiming he spent little, saying he's nearly $38 million under budget. Trump reiterated his complaints about the undocumented immigrants and the nuclear deal with Iran.
We give them $150 billion. We give them essentially 22 people, but these are people that really did have problems. And we're getting back 4 people that didn't do anything wrong.
Education also a priority for Trump.
In education, we're number 1 in the world in cost per student. We spend more per pupil than anybody else by far. And yet, we're number 28 in terms of quality. So we spend more than anybody else. And to a large extent, that's Common Core. Because, you know, these people in Washington, the bureaucrats are making a fortune. They don't give a damn about your kids in South Carolina.
And Trump says he's more upset with Republicans for agreeing to the recent budget deal, but he says he's hardly giving up his fight.
We have to use our best people. We have to be smart. We have to be tough. We have to be vigilant. And we can do it. And we can make America greater than ever before. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Presidential candidates Rick Santorum and former Virginia Governor Jim Gilmore scheduled to speak here tomorrow. We'll be here to cover what they said starting on WMBF News at 6 p.m. Reporting in Myrtle Beach, Michael Maley, WMBF News.